going on, guys? So today we're going to get back on the Rocket 3 GT Chrome and Red edition that I got. Today we're going to focus on changing out the stock backrest that came with it, because it's a silver, brushed silver look to it. And as I mentioned when I did the walk around when I first brought her home, I had ordered the blacked out version. So I have the blacked out backrest and also the blacked out luggage rack. So we're going to work on getting that done today and go through the steps of switching out this one here. Nothing wrong with this one. I just like to have the blacked out look going all the way down. I think it'll look more sleek and toned in with all the color schemes of the bike. So that's what we're going to do. So let me get the camera turned around to the overhead. I'll kind of show you the parts that come around in it, and then we'll flip around and start working on getting this thing taken off and put the new one back on. So see you in a minute. Okay, so we got this all turned around now. You can see everything that comes in the kit. There was a couple separate packages. So you had one kit that was the blacked out backrest, which the bike currently does not have a backrest, so this is an addition. And max load on this guy is 6.5 pounds or so. We'll be losing that sticker. And then the second kit comes with the blacked out backrest pieces, the blacked out back covering, the bottom that goes in there, the screws that mounts it, and part of the trigger assembly that raises the seat head up and down. So it should be a pretty simple install. They do not provide any instructions, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, but luckily I have a backrest that's already on there, so it should be able to be removed and put on. You do have to get the service manual for Triumph through a site called Triton, I think it is, where you have to pay a monthly service fee, which I think is kind of ridiculous, instead of being able to just buy the service manual that you want and everything else for that. But in any case, I'll check that out and see what they got, just to make sure I've got a blown out view or something to see how it all goes. And then we're going to get everything switched around, put on, and get rid of that brushed silver equipment and put on this blacked out equipment, which is going to be pretty cool. So just keep in mind the packages do come in left and right for this one. These aren't marked left and right, but you can kind of see how they go on when you put on. So we'll get flipped around, take a look, see what's going on, and get it going. So see you in a minute. All right, so we got the camera turned around now, facing the left side of the bike. The reason why we got it there is because we have to take the seat off. So with the Triumph, and one of the neat features about that is there's a key right here that you use for your transponder and your flip out key, which is also for your gas tank. And you just take this guy, pop that in there, turn it, and it lifts up your seat. And you just pull your seat right off. So there's no bolts or anything that you got to mess with like on other bikes and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And then some of the areas we have to get to is we have to take off these two bolts here. And then there's a fender cover back underneath here that has a few bolts down here that we've got to get to pull out so that we can get to the bottom of the seat rest bolts. Now, I've pulled these off before and put them on, so pretty easy to do there. But before I do that, I'm going to start on the back of the backrest, because I kind of want to see what it looks like when I take it apart, so I know how to put the new one back on. Because you can see this is one piece, this is one piece, this is another piece, that's a piece back here, and then you've got the switch down here with that little bar thing. So I think it all ties together pretty well, but I want to be able to take a look and see how it all comes apart. So I'm going to take the back top off first, and then I'll go under and pull the fender pull the fender cover, and then do the backrest, put them on, and build it in reverse order. So that way I can take pictures of it just to make sure I get everything the way it's supposed to be and it works like it's supposed to. So, all right, let me flip the camera around towards the back, and we'll work on the back of the backrest and see what that looks like. All right, back in a sec. Okay, so now we're back here at the back of the bike. You can see you've got 4 bolts here that we need to take off on there. Those guys are, what is this, 3mm. I'm going to pull these out. These are T45s, which we'll take out next on that. But we'll focus on these right here. So let's pull these guys out. All right, so once we get the back off, you can see all the mechanisms here. This goes in there like that. This is that one cross beam bar. There's a stamp on it right here that says L for left, so we know which side that goes to. So we'll just match that on the same one. Let me grab my camera. I'm just gonna take a picture of it just because I like to be cautious. Okay, so the backrest is held on with some tension, so I'm just gonna pop that out like this and get this screw out. Pop it back, pop that back. Take off there. There's the little left right there, it indicates. Pop it back. Then I want to see if I can slide this seat back cover up and off. So there's the seat back cover. Now we can get to this clevis pin and pop out this mechanism. But to be honest, I don't know that I necessarily need to do that because it's all going to go back on the same way. So I may as well just use the same hardware. It's going to be hidden behind the back plate. If you don't have one, then you would put this all together, but why screw with something you don't need to screw with, right? Okay, so we've got that off of there, that's good. All right, so now we'll get our T45 and take these two pieces off. See the length of the bolt? There's other new bolts in there that are just like this, which are a little bit of a darker color to go with the flat black or the matted black look. All right, so we got those out. And then we have T45s on the front side as well. So we're gonna take those out. Now normally we could just take this all off in one piece and just switch that out, but because I wanna see how the other one goes together, because it's not together, that's why I'm doing it this way. Shorter screws, so I want to pay attention that they're shorter screws for that. When we set it aside on the side, we'll put the right length screws with the right pieces. Okay, so that piece comes off. And then you got the shorter screws. We'll set those over on the side with the screws with them. Okay, so that now frees that up. Now where it's going to be different, I think, for the luggage rack is I don't think that the centerpiece is going to go there. I think the luggage rack is going to replace that. Okay, so here's the blacked out version right there. And then this is the luggage rack. And see, I think that replaces this because they can't go on together. So this would be if you didn't want to have the luggage rack, you could just take the luggage rack off and put that on real easy with those 4 bolts, which is kind of cool. Or you can put the luggage rack on with the 2 pieces right there, and that replaces this piece here in the center. Seems about right. Yep, cool. Okay, so now we got that ready to go. Now we will move around and work towards taking out this under fender cover and then drop that down so I can get to the bolts that come up underneath this luggage rack or this backrest. There's 2 bolts that you saw from the holes in the other one that come up and go this way. So we're gonna work on getting that switched around, see if I can get a better view for you for that. So, all right, back in a second. Okay, so we got it turned around now, so hopefully it's a good view for you guys to see. As you know, there's a mud guard or a kick panel or something, I guess whatever you want to call it, underneath the back of this fender. And it's kind of hard to get to, but I'll show you this picture right here to give you an idea. And then what we want to do is we want to take that out so that we can get to the underside bolts here and here. And then we'll take these 2 bolts out. So in order to get that bottom kick panel out, there's 2 screws, there's one here and here. So you just remove your computer cable connector right there for them to do their diagnostics and whatnot. And you'll see a bolt there, and there's another one just like it on the other side. So we'll take those out, and those are a 5mm. And then for the panel, you can kind of feel it move around. So you just take your finger underneath the fender, pop it out, and then pitch it side to side. And it comes out and looks like this. So this is the wheel side, and this is up underneath. You can see the two screw holes here and here. This little clip right here and here hook up underneath by the tail light, and then these two on this side and this side hook up underneath the carriage. So now that you've got that off, you've exposed the bolts underneath here to take off this backrest piece. There's two bolts here and here on either side. Boom, boom. Go up underneath now and take those out. Those are 12 millimeters. So you just go up underneath there and loosen those up. And this is what they look like there. Now notice I have not taken these out yet. I'm using those to hold this thing in place. See, because I don't want it to fall off on the bike or something when I'm down here wrenching screws. So there's the second one. They also include new hardware for these in the kit. All right, now that we've got those loose, you can see all that's holding it on now is these two screws. So we'll take these out, which again are the 5 millimeters, same that we've used in everything else. Hold on to it. You don't want it to jump off and scratch something. Pull that out, and out comes your brushed silver backrest. And then we do the same thing on this side. And those are the two bolts underneath. And there you go. Your backrest is now off. And either to do like I did on my previous one where I put a blank here because I ran without a backrest, or we're going to put the new one on there and get that going. So let's clean this guy up and get the dirt off of there since we have it all exposed. Might as well take advantage of the opportunity. There we go. All pretty. And then what we'll do is we'll get the blacked out ones and drop those in and go in reverse order. Now when you look at the new ones, same premise. You can see here's the splines that go in the back for the backrest to move up and down, right? So we'll just position this and see that this is the left-hand side. So this one will go right here in place to where the other one was. So we'll set this in place and use the same screw to loosely hold it in place. Slide that one in place. We don't want to tighten anything down until we have it in because there's some slide adjustment play, right? So just got to kind of line up the gap here on the back. And then once you get that bolt in, that'll kind of hold it true, I think, and make sure that these two pieces are equal. Already looking good already. All right, so now we're going to start these. I'm going to start with the back one just because it's easier to get a hold of and helps kind of align that. And then we'll go right back in the same holes underneath for the front one. There we go. We'll go do the same on the other side. Okay, so they're on there kind of loosely. I'm not going to tighten them yet because I'm going to put the backrest and the luggage rack on loosely so it's all together, and then I'll go around and tighten everything up tight to top to bottom. Okay, so what I did was I kind of loosely put everything together. You can see nothing's real tight, so I just followed the same path I did. I put the bolts there to put the back pieces on. We put the backrest on top of it, just kind of loosely fit that. I've got the luggage rack in place here. So now that I can see kind of how everything sits, now we can begin tightening everything down and getting it lined up. So I think we're going to start at the bottom and tighten up the main bolts on the bottom. And just as with before, I'm going to start with the back. All right, so now that those are good and tight, we'll tighten up these front bolts. So now that's not going anywhere. And then now we'll work our way back to the back. That's not going nowhere. And then now all we have to focus on is the actual luggage rack itself. And this guy is a 4mm bit with a 10mm on the bottom. And then the last piece to do is to tighten down the bolts in the back of the backrest. So remember, we got that plate back there. So we'll tighten these down. Okay, and then we'll check seat functionality. Up and down. Holds it. Just for adjustments. Look how nice that looks. Nice and pretty. All right, so now the next thing we need to do is get our fender guard back in. And this one is kind of hard to show because of where it's at underneath the bike, but if you recall, this is it. These two hook up underneath, these two hook on the other side, these two hook up in the top, and then these go in these bolt holes here. So you just got to kind of shift and manipulate to get them in there. Put your screws in, get those started. And remember to put your cable connector back where it goes. There's a little split right there, sits right on that little bar. Kind of holds it in place from having it wander around. Tuck your wires down in. And take your seat. Tuck your seat back up underneath. Pop it in place. Latch it down. And you're done. And there you now have the all black backrest, luggage rack, and everything on place. So cool. Let's turn around and take a full look at the bike. All right, there you go. So pretty easy installation. I had the other backrest to look at for, a reference without having to go online and dig around the service manual. I haven't seen anybody put any of these on yet for any of the channels that are out there doing stuff, so I'm pretty happy to hopefully be the first, and if not, just an addition that shows a little different aspect to it, right? So, but I gotta say, with the black fender and the black backrest and this luggage rack, man, that just really completes out the back of the bike and makes it look all stealth. So pretty interesting, pretty easy to do, pretty happy with the results. So I'll post a link down in the description below for the part number on Triumph's website. And that way you guys know where to go to do it, or get it if you wish to do it. But all in all, offsets all the black and the extra black fender and stuff that they're doing on this version. So awesome. All right, so like, subscribe, give any feedback, comments that you have. Tell me what you think. Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks better without it? Good stuff to know all the way around. And like always, be good humans, and see you on the next one. All right, take care.